In order to collect recipes for a cookbook throughout the year, it's going to make it a lot easier is if we have a standardized data format. So this way we can collect all of the ingredients, the instructions, the pictures for everything. And then once we have the number of recipes that we want, what we can do is we can programmatically, using software, load them up. And then we can use some kind of formatting tool in order to make sure that they all look pretty, that they're lined up, that any comments are styled correctly, and we don't lose any information. So this is how I've been doing it since probably December, so about 2 months now. So I'll share this with you, and then we can hopefully do it together. Um, it's kind of look a little weird. That's because it's designed to be computer readable as opposed to human readable. So let's get into it. So on the left here, you can see that I have one carrot ginger soup, beef and barley stew, and an umami bomb onion soup already saved up, and then just a standardized data format, which is like an example. So the first thing is what's called comments. So comments are notes in a document for computers that are actually meant for humans. So essentially, the computer will just ignore everything. So it's like instructions basically. They're wrapped in parentheses, as you can see. You'll notice that everything starts on a new line. The next thing is what's called a data object, and so what that is it's just a line that starts with a hashtag essentially. So this is the recipe name. So we're going to need that for every recipe. So it's a data object called recipe name, and then this one happens to be the beef and barley stew. Food types. So I'm thinking on this one, it's like, okay, well, if we make a stew or a soup as opposed to like a sandwich or a pumpkin pie or something, this is like a general category, so we can keep all the recipes categorized very easily. The next is like a tag. This is literally just hashtags. This one's healthy, it's low calorie, it's beef and barley, whatever. This one technically is images none because it's an example. So that means that there are no pictures that are available. So I'll go back into images once we look at creamy beef and barley. We'll look at it. Actually, you know what? Let's just pull it up now. I'll just switch over to the creamy beefy barley one. So I just switched over. You'll notice that the comments are a lot smaller. It's slightly different. So here what I have is basically the file name of the images that I took with my phone. And then, so image underbar, whatever that number is, dot PNG. And then I have two images and they are separated by what's called a semicolon. And the way that's just so that when the computer loads these up, they can be like, oh, I need the first one and I need the second one. That's called a delimiter, and it's just a special character that computers use to be able to switch back and forth. This data thing, I don't really know what we want to put in here. So this is basically what I track in my recipes that I care about, but I'm sure that most people would care about other things. So for example, the entire recipe itself is roughly 2,500 calories. Within the entire recipe, there's roughly 155 grams of protein. And then each serving, which there happens to be 11 of them, I just already did the math because each individual serving is that. I could see making this more. We can add to this. We can remove this. I just saved what I normally care about. So it's like, you see how it's like a sub thing? It's tabbed out. It's got the double hashtag in order to tell that it's like a sub object, part of a bigger data object. Next one is ingredients. This one here, you'll notice these are comments. These top two lines, these are just examples. So computers are really dumb, so you have to tell them exactly what stuff is. So what this is what ingredients go in here. So each one is on its own line. So we have one can, which then what's a can? A can is 10.5 ounces of French onion soup. So obviously I bought like a Campbell's French onion soup or something for this. I have 1 pound of 93.7 beef. I have 231 grams of celery, 661 grams of red potatoes. So as you can see, it's the amount, the unit of the amount, and then the name of the ingredient. So they are separated by what's called a pipe. This could have been a semicolon. However, I used the semicolon as like the images. I use the semicolon to split between a unit and a secondary unit. Then the cooking instructions is also its own data object, and it is its hashtag, and then each instruction is just a number dot space whatever, 6 dot whatever, 7 dot whatever. So that is essentially what I'm doing for now. Now we can add other data objects and we can make it better. And then just in general, in terms of all the pictures that I've taken, I will, here in the images folder on the left, essentially I just have all of the images saved so that we can just go through it later. Like I don't need to like put them in their own subfolders. I can just drop them all in the same folder and not worry about it, specifically because in this images tag here, it's already defined. So we'll be able to very easily link the images to the correct recipe in the future. So that's what I've been using. I would encourage you to do the same when you're doing your recipes. And then whenever we get around to doing anything, you can kind of we can combine and figure it all out. Let me know if you have any comments or concerns or anything, and we will get this set up and ready to go.